All right, so this Knife Thoughts video is going to be a review of this knife, the Sencut Snap. And if you like high quality but budget friendly knives, particularly knives with kind of classic design, and if you like wood handles, then this might be a great video for you to watch. So if you're not familiar with Sencut knives, it is a new brand from We Knives. So another sister company or sister brand to We Knives. And We Knives is a Chinese knife company that makes higher end knives in the 150 to 200 plus range, sometimes a little lower, but usually in that higher end range with, high quality build and more exotic or pricey materials like this knife, the Laconico Keen in titanium. And a while back, they came out with their budget brand CIVIVI knives. If you follow my channel, you've seen lots of CIVIVI videos. I think you get a really, really great value on CIVIVI knives, but CIVIVI has kind of expanded from pure budget into some more fancy things like Damascus blades and things like that, and they're in the $50 to $100 range typically. So recently I saw Sencut on Amazon and actually didn't realize that it was a sister brand to We. And then a fellow YouTuber and knife enthusiast, Mark Kaufman, sent the Sencut Sidious and let me know that it was a sister brand to We, so that I could review it. And I was really impressed. It really seemed like a CIVIVI knife to me. So they don't have too many models out yet, and I saw that they came out with some new models, including the Snap, and decided to give it a shot. So as for the knife itself, like I said, this is called the Snap. And this particular model is in Cabourchia wood. I always have trouble saying that, but it's actually a genus of wood or trees that has several different species in it and is often used for knife handles. And that's part of what interested me in this knife, is that as a budget knife, it's not so often that you can get a nice looking wood handle on a knife. Often you'll see lower end or budget knives with composite wood handles that just don't look as nice. And so when I saw that Sencut had a knife in this same wood that they use on CIVIVI knives, I was pretty interested. And then I was also interested in this because it has a really classic design. So if you look at it, it has pretty classic handle shape, nice and simple, and then a really, really nice looking clip point there, a nice straight clip point. And it's not exact, and I actually don't have the wood handled version of it, but it kind of reminded me of a modern version of the Buck 110. So that's what interested me in this knife. Now, when I got the knife, first of all, I was surprised at how heavy the stonewash is on the blade. That's not something that I've seen on a CIVIVI knife, and that might be something that helps to cut the cost down of the knife. Now, I actually don't mind it at all. I think that it looks pretty good. It gives it a nice dull look that kind of fits with the liners and makes the wood really stand out there. Now, this is not a small knife. I want to show you some comparisons. Here is a Benchmade full-size Griptilian. So you can see that the CIVIVI, the Sencut is actually pretty similar in size, slightly larger. And then here is the classic Spyderco Native 5. The Native 5 is significantly smaller than the Sencut Snap. So it's not a small knife. You get a pretty good amount of edge. And one thing that I also like, I'm not against finger choils, but I do like to have, the full blade length there. So you do get edge the whole blade length. And I think that that's a nice thing on, to have on some knives. Not that I'm always against a finger choil, but I do think it's a nice feature at times. One thing I really like about this knife is the handle. I was a little bit worried that it would be a little short for me, particularly with this upturn at the butt, but that upturn does give it again, nice classic look. And because it's such a simple handle shape, which if you watch my channel, I like simple handle shapes. A simple handle makes an ergonomic handle. It actually fits my hand really well. So you can see I get all 4 fingers in there, and it doesn't create a hot spot on my pinky or anything. The blade came nice and sharp, and if it'll focus here, it seems to be ground pretty well, also pretty thinly for slicing. And it flips, I mean, just like a CIVIVI. So you can see it's drop closed, the flipper hits your thumb, and it just really swings out there. Even unlocked, so that, you know, it's just the pivot, there's no pressure from the lock bar, no side-to-side play whatsoever. I mean, it is solid, and no forward and back with it open the whole way and locked. The other thing is that it does have milling on the liners, and the liners have the same type finish that you see on a CIVIVI, that it's kind of polished and rounded, but it does have maybe a little bit heavier of a stone wash on those liners. And same on the clip here, again, a comparison with the CIVIVI Dogma. So it's really nice, really good construction. It came perfectly centered, no issue there whatsoever, and it is a really great looking handle. Now, the one issue is that this knife did come with some slight finishing issues on the wood, which is not a huge surprise. I'm actually surprised that they can do these wood handles in, you know, machining, CNC machining, I assume, without too many issues. But if you look under the clip there, it's a little tough to see, but there is a line right here where the grain kind of sticks through, and you can see a little bit here, and a little bit right here on this bevel. So I think that's just the nature of the wood, but I will say this is a CIVIVI Elementum that CIVIVI very kindly sent to me. The Elementum I think the wood, it's definitely darker, and it is maybe a little bit more polished, more finely finished, especially along the edges and bevels. So that might be an area where there's a little bit of cost saving along with the stonewash. And then finally, with the cost saving, it comes in a pretty simple cardboard type box. I actually think that it looks kind of nice. And then in the box there is a, if I can get it out, maybe a slide out, and it's just in a plastic bag. And honestly, I think that's where the most of the savings are probably on this. On CIVIVI knives, or when you get a CIVIVI knife, it usually comes in a little bit higher end seeming glossier box with a pouch and, you know, a microfiber cleaning cloth and some stickers, things like that. So I think they're just really kind of cutting out some of the cosmetic or unnecessary things on these to bring the value. So in conclusion, I'm just pretty impressed by this knife. This knife cost me on Amazon $45, about $48 after taxes. And, you know, in comparison to a CIVIVI with similar features, so this is the CIVIVI Elementum. Again, they did send this to me. I didn't purchase it, but on Amazon, these cost in most other places about $64, so probably $68 after taxes. So for $20 less, you're getting, you know, a lot of the same features and really similar build quality. They are different steels here, D2 versus 9CR18 MOV, but CIVIVI does use 9CR18 MOV on, you know, some of their knives. By the way, 9CR18 MOV is, you know, something like 440C with a little bit more alloying. So not a high-end steel, but it seems to have done well in some tests that people have done on CIVIVI knives, you know, so far. So I just think you're getting a pretty good amount of knife, especially considering the, you know, classic design, the larger size. And that's one thing. These Sencut knives seem to, and again, they only have, you know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 models so far, but they seem to be a little bit bigger than your typical CIVIVI knife. So this, and I know at least 2 other of the Sencut knives so far have about a 3.5 inch blade, whereas a lot of CIVIVI knives are more in the EDC friendly range of 3 inches or 3.25 inches and things like that. So I actually like that. I tend to like a 3.5 to 4 inch blade, so I do like the size of this knife and I actually think I'm probably going to try out some other Sencut knives. And where are they getting that, you know, reduced cost? Well, like I said, I think that the heavy stone wash is probably less expensive than a satin finish. The handle maybe has a little bit less finishing on it, and particularly the, you know, simple box versus a little bit higher end box and coming with a zipper pouch and things like that are probably where they're saving some of that money. But if you don't care about those things and you just want, you know, a nice looking, well-built knife, it seems like Sencut is a good option. So I've been impressed with this, and if you're looking for a budget-friendly knife, I think that Sencut is a brand to check out. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my channel. Like I've said, I've got lots of other videos on CIVIVI knives, WE knives, and I have more videos coming soon. So make sure you hit the bell so you know when I post those new videos. Also, make sure you check me out on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Knife Thoughts, and check my website out, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and knife related topics. And last but not least, as always, make sure to go out and do good.